Now, we've had a succession of big retailers on the programme in the past couple of weeks bemoaning the lack of GST for online sellers based offshore, claiming that it's costing them a fortune. Today, the federal government has said that it's happy to discuss what can be done to ease those concerns. But consumer groups want to know why we should have to pay more to maintain the retailers' profit margins. Here's Simon Palin.
Australian retailers are having a tough time getting into the Christmas spirit. They're being trampled in the rush to buy goods from offshore websites as local consumers take advantage of the strong Australian dollar.
It's been a very difficult 12 or 18 months for the retail community, and this kind of blip in terms of people taking their business overseas is a real worry for us.
Another advantage for foreign competitors is that any imported goods under $1,000 are GST tax-free.
So if you think it's big now, have a look at it. Have a look at it down the track a bit and see how big it is.
It would actually make more sense for us to send books from an overseas location back into Australia and avoid the GST.
The federal government acknowledges that retailers across the country are hurting. It says one possible solution is for it to change the tax-free threshold.
There is a debate emerging from the retailers in Australia who feel the $1,000 threshold is too high. We'll have to work something out and see if it's administratively feasible.
Well, I think for many of the people that are in, for example, the fashion industry, there's certainly a feeling that, yes, this would make a difference.
Internet shopping is estimated to be worth $12 billion a year. That's about 4% of total retail sales. And while any lowering of the GST tax threshold would be good news for local retailers, consumer groups are sceptical.
We don't think there's any need to change. Really, the issue that the retailers are facing is one of technology, not tax. Online competition is going to grow and they need to adapt and change.
There are also concerns that collecting the tax would be difficult and costly, especially as many offshore shopping websites aren't even registered.
Look, I think this is probably one of the big issues with this. It is a very difficult project to look at the administration issues, and I think that's one of the reasons why the government needs to take a long, hard look at exactly how they could make it work.
It would be incredibly inefficient and costly to collect tax on this sort of level, and that's why we have threshold. The threshold effectively suggests that it's not worth collecting on that kind of small purchase.
And Christopher Zinn says any tax changes would seem an overreaction, especially if the Australian dollar begins to fall in value.